One of my first impressions was clearly somebody who was thoughtful, smart, that he didn't get there by luck.
You know, most people don't realize John came from very humble beginnings in Lake Jackson. He worked in junior high, he worked in high school, he was always building things. He was building houses when he was in high school. He was shelling pecans and selling them to the grocery stores. So he had a strong work ethic from early on.
There were not a lot of kids from Lake Jackson, Texas, who were going to the University of Texas. He had never even been to Austin, had never toured. He applied, he got in, he drove himself to Austin with a paper map, shows up in Austin and looks for the tower.
And he came to UT and worked hard in the engineering program and switched to the accounting program his junior year, where he excelled, obviously, and went on from there to graduate at some of the highest honors.
He comes out of the accounting program and ends up with Richard Rainwater. And as I understand the story, at some point Rainwater puts his faith in him and gives him a pool of money to invest and asked John to put in what John had. He didn't have a lot at the time, but he put it all in. And then, it played out just amazingly well. And so I can imagine that Rainwater saw the same things that became clear to the rest of the world years later, that John had just supreme talent.
So he started building various real estate major developments. He became a partner in Canyon Ranch in the mid-1990s.
He had Crescent and had built the company and was doing very well. At what turned out to be maybe the peak, he sells the entity because prices are high and the time is right. And then the part that makes the story more complete is at the trough after the great financial crisis, he goes and buys it back. And it's that second leg. A lot of people got lucky and sold at the peak, but not a lot of people had the temerity to go back in and buy what turned out to be the trough. And you see that full journey of build a company, take your chips off the table at the right time, and then put the chips back in again. And that speaks to, I think, his brilliance as an investor.
Well, the Crescent Hotel is what John built his company on and named it after, because it was the prize asset back when he started the company. But now we have properties all over Nashville, Atlanta, Denver, and Florida.
I've worked with John in some business transactions, and I have found him to always maintain the highest degree of ethics and character in all of his dealings.
Perseverance, determination, grit is a great word with John. I mean, he's fair, he's got such integrity, but he's got grit.
He's very committed to his family. John enjoys fly fishing, he enjoys the game of golf, but more than anything else, he enjoys spending quality time with his children, his grandchildren, and all of his family.
First and foremost, John is a family man. And all of his 5 children, grandchildren, we are what motivates him. He wants to be the best he can be. He wants to teach others. He wants everyone to succeed.
John is a very kind and generous individual. It's amazing how much he tries to help other people, particularly young people that are starting their career. He felt he had good mentors, and he tries to give back to those young individuals, but also to the community and to the state. One of his key passions recently has been co-chairing with Jerry Jones, raising the money to build the Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington. John has shared with me that he's had the privilege and the opportunity to visit with a third of the Medal of Honor winners, and he was inspired by their dedication and their passion and their selfless service.
He's got this real depth of contribution and giving back around real estate. And it's everything from the big stuff like the fund, where students are getting an experience that's unique around the country. It's the first of its kind, where students can invest in private deals and also in publicly traded real estate. And John made all that happen and has made it bigger than we even imagined it might be.
I think one of the honors that John has truly valued is being a recipient of the Texas Business Hall of Fame a few years ago. It is certainly well deserved on his part, and here's a gentleman who came from very humble beginnings to achieve the pinnacle of business success in the state of Texas.
it's not only what he brings, but it's the signal of somebody like John giving back his time that it helps all of us try to do a little better.